John, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Painting with
Okay.
Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. We are continuing the saga that is the PwMJ all-day broadcast. Mr. John Spencer has gotten his Skypes to be less wigged out, which is super legit because a little hard to do a co-host corner without a and then he left again. So, originally scheduled for this time slot was Mr. John Spencer and the co-host corner. I think what we might do, Gonzo, is let's rearrange the schedule a little bit. And since you are...
Well,
go ahead.
Well, we have our top secret thing at 12 o'clock. You want to fill it here?
Oh, sure. I mean, we were talking about movies. The top secret thing was going to be movies, right?
Yeah, you're in charge of this shit house.
Man, I tell you. Folks, that when technology, it's our friend. It's been our friend for a long time on this show. I'm going to go back to the painting cam. So while we're looking to get John back here to the show, let's go ahead and let's honor some more Brushheads.
Woo-woo.
So want to we're gonna talk. We've been talking about the different patrons all throughout the morning here, and so we have of course the next 5 that we want to salute. I guess I should probably get me some Cannon Blast before I go ahead and get too frisky about this. I need to get a beer.
Want to see something creepy?
Yeah, sure.
This is an elephant miniature without his trunk. Look how creepy that face is.
Ooh. Elephants, don't take off your trunks. All right. So, I broke Fiora 3.
What?
I broke her arm off,
Oh.
painting her. So, that's fine. What I need to probably do is I probably need to mount her on the horse now to complete the highlighting anyway. So, I probably will start to do that here shortly. I'm going to work on this base here for a little bit. But let's go back to what we were just talking about. We have, of course, J.R. Wilson. J.R. Wilson, thank you very much for your support. We could not do this show without you. We appreciate you. Thanks for being a patron. We have of course, Christopher Price. He's a patron. His friends like to call him Stinky, but we know him as Christopher Price. I don't know if that's true, but I just thought it'd be fun to say that. We have Nathan Owen, not related to Nathan Hoffman, completely different last name. We have, of course, Tracy Carter, a top rope patron that we can paint with. Love her. And then, of course, we have Side Hustle Seth Watkins. You're going to be seeing him later on in the show with the Brushhead Gallery. That'll be taking place between 7 and 8:30 in the evening, Central Time. That guy.
He needs to step up his painting skills because, geez.
Yeah.
I swear.
I know. He only made it to second day of Crystal Brush at the place. So he's a slacker. Anyway,
Slacker.
we love all of you guys. So on behalf of the Irrational Gonzo, Mr. John Spencer, who is lost in Skype land, hey, Ron.
Ron.
There you go. So thanks for joining in, folks. We got 11 viewers. And I'm working on my Siege Crawler base at this point. I'm using that crazy Zenithal shading and the glazing technique that Seth has taught us on the show, and I'm just kind of going over this. This is going to be the base for my siege crawler. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in some of these lower areas, and I'm probably going to put a little bit darker wash on it, just to kind of help it get a little bit more definition. Because some of this is not as I might have put a little bit too much of the light color on it, so we'll see how it all works out. But so we were going to talk movies during this segment. Actually, originally it was going to be co-host corner. John is really struggling with his Skypes right now, and so he's going to do whatever he needs to do to get himself working again. But in the meantime, Gonzo and I will kind of take the helm of the mighty ship Menoth John. And
Yeah, it seems like Skype is having an issue because I have no video view in Skype, just on the Twitch channel.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do here. There. Now do you?
There we go.
All right. So I think that was just I had that error where mine kicked out for a second, and I think that's what was causing the problem.
Draco's Dragon wants to know, is that a resin base, or did you do all that yourself?
Yeah, it's a resin base. This is from Secret Weapon Miniatures. It's a rubble base that they sell. What I was trying to go after was a base that I actually did do myself. I'll show it here in just a second. Let me just kind of use up this wash that I had, this glaze that I have set up over here. But I used rocks from the house that I grew up in. It's a driveway originally. And so that's what I have on my Earthbreaker, and I don't have access to that house anymore. So it would be kind of weird to go to the people who own that house now and, just show up at their driveway and just start, like, collecting rocks out of the driveway. I didn't want to go to jail for that.
Drive-by rocking.
What's that?
Drive-by rocking.
A drive-by rocking, exactly. I didn't feel like going to visit the policeman for that reason yet. Other reasons maybe, but not that reason. So we're just kind of doing it up here, just kind of giving it a glaze, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm going to dry brush it, and it should turn out pretty good. Especially since a lot of the rocks that I have on that base, there's more color contrast in the rocks that are the natural rocks than what I'm getting on this. So I definitely have to do a little bit more washing and a little bit more dry brushing once this initial glazing gets done.
Yeah, because from what it looks like on here, it looks all the same color.
I know, and I don't want that to be the case. It's not as stark as that, but once I get a little dry brush on it and a little bit of wash down on it, it'll be fine. I'm probably going to wash it with a little bit of light tone. I'll probably go with believe it or not, Agrax Earthshade, and then a little bit of, I know, right? And then probably a little bit of a dark tone from, or what is it called? Strong tone from what the hell? Army Painter. I overdid it with the zenithal shading on this. There's not enough contrast between the tops and the bottoms, and I didn't go through and I didn't do the sketching like I should have, so I didn't follow all of Seth's instructions, which, as it turns out, when Seth tells you something about painting, you probably ought to do it the way he says to do it, because he's good at painting.
What?
I know, right?
Not
Nobody knew
our
that.
Seth.
Yeah, our Seth. We love that guy. He's moving, and I'm not okay with that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's gonna move down. He's got a gig going. He's a teacher, as you are as well, and he is got a gig down in South Carolina or North Carolina or something like that. Oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that it's John Spencer for more than a couple of minutes here. Come on, John. We can do it, John.
Well, that was the computer.
Okay. Well, and now he's gone again.
Another creepy
freeze.
Oh, nope. Now he's gone. Oh, what's that?
He's got tusks on his back, or trunks on his back.
Well, there you
Look
go.
at it. That's creepy. That's cool.
All right, so we're gonna let this dry a little bit. Actually, I need to put a little bit more down in here, and we're gonna let that get good and dry before we decide to put the a little bit of wash on it.
Wash, 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 wash it, baby. So I'm guessing Seth picked up a job in, did you say South Carolina?
So, yeah, somewhere in the South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere in there. And so, good for them. Good on them. They got themselves a good one. And too bad for us up here in the North, because they lost a good one.
Kind of curious about that, because like my contract is up, and since it's a 1 year only, I have to reapply for my job and re-interview for my job.
That's messed up. I don't understand.
Oh, we're over. We need to check.
Woohoo! All right, Lee just put us up over 400. 435. Holy cow!
You're balling.
Nice. We just had a thank you very much, Lee, for that $50 donation. We're at 435 now. I made a commitment to take my shirt off at 400, did I not?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so here we go.
And you have to put it back on at what?
At 500. So
500?
all right, so there you go, folks. Shirts off. All right, so there you go. Now, there's a lot to look at here on this show now that I'm shirtless. If you want this to go back, if you want that shirt to go back on, you know how to do it. So, and I don't think anybody doesn't want that shirt to go back on. All right, so I'm going to show here real quick. This is the if you look at the basing on this model, you can see there's a lot of rocks and different colors and things like that. And I think what I'm going to probably do now is I'm going to mix a different color glaze and go back with a little bit darker colors on it and try to pick up some different ones. At 500, I would be willing to make the crotch cam come back.
What?
It is possible. I could make the crotch cam come back. I'll put the shirt on and the crotch will come out. So, there you go. People asking for stuff. I'm willing to do it for juvenile diabetes. So, all right. I'm about 2 seconds from introducing my computer to my rifle. Poor John. Poor John.
Okay, so, I mean, we can just fill time.
Yeah, we can do that.
I will talk about the movie I watched.
Yeah, do it, buddy.
And I watched last night, and everybody said it was a really good movie. And they were like, hey, it's really cool. You should watch it. It's a good Marvel movie. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I hated Doctor Strange.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man. I did not see that coming.
I mean, it had its moments, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, maybe it was just because of the hype.
Okay. That can often happen.
And I think that's what it was. I'm going to go with that as the reason why is the hype. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, cool special effects, shit ton of CGI. I couldn't feel for the character. Okay, he had his hands. Now he can't, be a surgeon, blah, blah, blah. I get that.
Yep.
I just didn't feel for him.
Yeah. Well, he was a dick.
And that's what. Yeah, he was a dick.
Yep, he was a dick. Oh, this is bad. This is bad.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So I assembled this model apart from the horse, and now I have an interference between the flaggy parts on her and the tail on the horse. That's I don't know how to. Boy, this is gonna be hard to fix.
Can you bend the flaggy parts?
I'm gonna try and to bend them and not break the model. Hey, John, welcome back.
Thanks.
It's gonna be okay, buddy. Fuck, and then I broke it. God damn it.
Did you break it?
Yeah, I broke it off. All right, so now I can bend it. Now I can re-glue it and put it back together. Yay.
Yeah. And touch-ups.
Yay, I broke Fiora 3 now twice today.
Hey, I have a story about this for later. I don't want to do any spoilers, but in the Brushhead Gallery section, I got a story about one of the very well-painted models there and something like this, so.
All right.
But we can wait for that.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and now, John, we are a little bit into what we were expecting to call the co-host corner. do we want to use co-host corner later on?
Yeah, let's do it later on. I'm not up to form, let's say, right this moment.
Yeah, I can see where you might be a little distracted.
Angry.
Yeah, that too. A lot of emotions, a lot of feels,
Yeah, there's the feels going on.
a lot of feels. Don't want to mess that up. All right, so
All right.
But going back to the conversation of Doctor Strange,
yep.
I was not real happy with it. Cool scenes, tons of cool CGI. I just didn't feel like they were in any danger. It didn't feel like there was any dramatic, oh my God, we got to do this to save the universe, and we're going to do it because we got awesome magical skills. I was like, oh, I'm just going to turn and do this and wave my hands, and ta-da! Everything's rappy again.
Yeah, I can see that.
It was a cool looking movie. I'll give you that. CJ was really cool, very interesting, but overall I was like, eh.
So where do you think they could have done maybe a little bit? I mean, how would you have done it differently?
Here's the thing. I'm not that up on Doctor Strange history, stories, and stuff like that, so I have no clue how they could do that, because from my point of view, Doctor Strange isn't your typical superhero movie where he fights the bad guy and wins. There's a lot of, the magical theme type stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know, because I don't want to write it off, because like I said, I don't know the Doctor Strange universe,
lore?
I guess you could call it. Because to me, it was just like, oh, we got this big bad guy that's going to kill everybody and take everything away. No, he doesn't, and he just snaps his fingers. Type thing. So I have no clue. Had some cool, like I said, if there had been like this cool martial arts, badass fight and drama and stuff like that, probably would have been a little better. But I don't know the source material, so I really can't speak on that.
John, your thoughts on Doctor Strange?
I actually liked the ending way better, because it was A, they didn't necessarily kill the big baddie, and B, it was inventive rather than let's just punch and shoot it till everything's okay. I thought it was pretty inventive, and I enjoyed that.
Fair enough.
But to be fair, I'm not the hugest Doctor Strange fan myself, but I do know one of the writers of the screenplay is actually a fairly big nerd, geek, and Doctor Who fan. So I have to imagine it at least is somewhat beholden to the source material.
I finished your monkey, by the way. Did you see
Monkey!
him?
Yes, let me see the monkey.
I like him because he looks like he's smirking. Like this smirk, like, I'm going to fuck you up smirk.
This is a cool model. Oh.
I feel that.
Yeah, he's super cool.
I sense the defense is breaking.
I will say this. If you get into the game, it's very cheap to get a crap ton of models. And it's actually really stupid fun. I mean, you could probably go on eBay and buy the entire faction, minus what's come out recently, for probably $75 or $100.
But what came out recently is what I want. That's the part I want.
Dracos, that is for Wrath of Kings in the Shael Han faction. Really good game. Wish it. Like I said, I think if they would have promoted it more, it would do better. Because anytime I look at a game and I go, oh, what's their tournament scene like? Or what's their tournament package? Because that's what everybody's doing nowadays. They actually thought about it really well. Which, you know what? We could talk about Adepticon, too.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because there was some drama that happened at Adepticon.
Really?
Ooh.
Fair. Fill us in, Gonzo.
Okay. I have a friend of mine, Nick Huseman. He's my human calculator. So anytime I have a math thing or we talk about, I'm like, all right, calculate this army up, make sure I got my points correct, and what's my percentage chance? Like, he will look at a model, look at his stats, and go, I have a 97.6% chance to assassinate you, and then come over and complain because that 0.3 or whatever, failed him. He's that type of human calculator. And he's a pundit for Guild Ball. And so he's always up on it, loves the game, no problem. which we are giving those away, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got Guild Ball. We got Fisherman's Guild that we're giving away to a random person at the end of the Brushhead Gallery tonight. That'll be close to 8:30 tonight, which is literally might as well be 1,000 hours from now.
No.
But at Adepticon, Guild Ball had a big tournament scene going on, where it was like one of their biggest, turnouts for their tournament scene. I
Mhm.
guess it was like for a national tournament or something like that. The problem was a few of the players gamed the system and were, I want to say scooping, but pretty much doing that to get their friends into the ends of the tournaments and to the different areas.
Oh, that old chestnut.
Oh God.
Mhm.
Oh God. Stop,
And
John.
they did
Stop.
They did it so well. I'm not gonna name names. That's not it. But they did it so well that I guess Matt, one of the developers, and maybe DC will talk about it. I don't know. They were pretty ticked off about it because it was gamed so well to get certain people into the tournaments, and they were, I mean, literally they were pissed about all this. So they're looking at their tournament scene again and gonna probably be changing that up.
Who ended up winning it all?
I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to it, but I know that they're going to be looking into their tournament packet and their tournament scene.
So this actually brings up another topic I had floating around in my head, and with press gangers going away, and you have to get, I don't want to say random people, but you're not going to get someone who's in any way beholden to privateer press or anything like that, or any company probably to judge and run your tournaments to be TO. You can now stores can actually get guys who are more tailored to what their meta needs. For example, if you've got a meta where a lot of guys are, playing slow or something, in some games they don't have clocks, say like a Malifaux or something, you can get a guy who's like, hey, dude, stop stalling, play your game. You can get the right judge for the game rather than someone who's necessarily, has a certain outline of rules they have to follow.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, there's very few times as a PG or TO that I've had to get onto a player.
Well, luckily we've got clocks, and actually have a topic
Yeah.
about that later too, at some point. But to do it, but there's a lot of games. I was talking with a Warhammer guy, and Warhammer was a game of 6 turns before it went away, and like Infinity is a game of 3 turns. So what happens if both players don't get their turn? Is that really fair? Like, oh look, I slowed down at the end of the game so that I know that I got my 5th turn, you didn't get your 5th turn, so look, advantage me.
Mm-hmm.
And how is that actually fair? We had a long talk about that, and it came up that, like, hey, you just gotta have a judge who's like, hey, stop slow machining or whatever, and just start playing. It really isn't a War Machine problem. It's more of an other game problem so much.
No,
which is good.
Before War Machine did death clocks and did time turns, and even before that was pretty prevalent. So
yeah,
with the death clock in, it's really pushed players to play because end round zone, it's usually not going to happen.
So I think there's no way to not go into it. I have a topic here we can talk about for the next bit.
Yeah.
How I feel, and just digest it for a second. I feel like with Mark III, I feel like time turns are superior to death clock, and I feel that way because with all the pre-measuring and death clock being just take as much time as you want, it disrupts the flow of the game, making it no longer an exciting game. For one player, it might be like, I'm measuring and measuring and measuring, and the guy's just like, for fuck's sake, kill me or get done with it. I don't like standing in one place for half an hour doing nothing and not moving a model. And I feel like that might be in my head what is hurting the game. Because it's not the same since Mark II. I can say it's not the same. I'm going to try to put my finger on it, and I think it's not any one thing. I think it's a combination of pre-measure plus a death clock sort of format or a non-time sort of format in the friendly games. You can sit there and you can take the turn and make the perfect turn. And yes, there's a ton of guys out there who, if you give them the time, can make the perfect turn, and it's a thing of beauty. But that's not necessarily, what it's about.
I'll agree with you on that. On some people just taking way too long. And I've been a victim of doing that myself because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do try to get this assassination off.
Mhm.
Measure this base out, put this token down, measure this, and and a lot of measuring to see if I can pull off the assassination.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but I know that the 2017 Steamroller is going to have something in there about proxy bases.
Oh, good.
Maybe we can
Good.
get someone to maybe we can get Pagani to elaborate on that. I know it was brought up over at SmogCon, and I asked about it at Adepticon, so I don't want to take away his thunder, but something
Yeah.
is coming about that.
Or we can bring this up to the Pagani. I wasn't gonna bring the whole topic up to him. I was, maybe get our thoughts and see what he says real quick on it. But
I agree
it
with
was
you
on
that
my
it has
mind.
changed. It has changed. The good players, and I want to say good, is in the people that are typically tournament players that know the stats of all the models and stuff. They can usually go, all right, I'm gonna pre-measure here, pre-measure here. Yeah, I think I can do it, and let's just go.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Me, I'm like, okay, I got to rethink this a little bit. Can I do it? Yeah, no. So I'm gonna have to go for this type of thing instead. But I
Yeah.
can see your point on that.
Yeah, so that's just my thought. If you have a time turn, which is, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Back in the day, yeah, Death Clock was better, but time turns is still a perfectly acceptable format to play. There were plenty of tournaments where they played time turns because chess clocks are not cheap and timers are cheap.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'd like to try it out locally. Maybe I can convince, or maybe I'll run a tournament locally and see if it brings back a little bit of that. Maybe I get some of my locals to play it. But that was my thought. I don't want to bring up negativity. I want to bring up, hey, here's what I think is wrong, and here's how I think we can fix it. John, what do you think?
You make an excellent point. I think that there is a little bit of the time turn thing. I think could go a long ways towards making the game, the pace of the game pick up a little bit. One of the things we were talking about a tiny little bit earlier was how why I liked Rumble is because Rumble is fast and deadly, and I think that some of the fast and deadly has gone out of the game, and that can actually make for some not as fun gameplay. So I think that
Maybe not as fun, maybe not as exciting.
sure.
It's still, at the end of the day, for the most part, I still enjoy games. It's just there's something missing, and I think it's that actual tinge of excitement, uncertainty, and trying to find ways to bring that back.
Yep, and I think I agree with you, John. I think that I would like to see some more time turns. I think that would be super legit and totally sweet.
But if Gonzo's correct, and there is some stipulation about proxy bases in the Steamroller packet in what I would call a beneficial way, meaning toning them the hell down, then maybe that'll be okay.
Yep.
We'll have to play by ear, but I think it's worth more thought. I'd love to hear what any of you guys, any you Brushheads listening, either live or recorded, and let me know what you think. And definitely want to address it again in the future. See what we can glean from this. See if we can help things get better.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I was expecting a lot more resistance than that, guys. Come on.
No, I get what you're saying because I mean, now if I'm playing at a store testing a list and we're talking it out and everything, that's perfectly fine. But if we're in a tournament and all you have to do is just do a couple of things to get the thing over, you should be able to do it. Putting out 7 bases, remeasuring, all this stuff just gets a little. You're like, I'm gonna go Skype for a minute with my friends. Tell me when you're good.
Yeah.
Type thing. So hopefully it's gonna change.
Yeah. I mean, I had a couple experiences where I'm just gonna go. I mean, I could walk away literally. You don't need my involvement here for the next 10 minutes. So
Correct.
just raise your hand, call me over, and when you're done, figure out how you're gonna kill me because you can measure everything perfectly. And I feel like if you want, this is gonna sound really harsh, but try and take it more in the spirit. If you want that exact perfection, everyone's talking about, we get to be very precise with our everything. If you want that level of precision, there is a game that has been made for you. It's called chess or Go. Those games are very precise. This is miniatures. Is always going to be a little bit of era of, I mean, there's physical models on a table that get nudged. It's not a grid or anything. And having more precision is good, but I think maybe there's too much of a focus, maybe an unhealthy focus on exact precision, it's exactly far enough. I mean, I see guys are like, I don't use a tape measure anymore. I only use the measuring sticks. And I'm like, you may be taking this a step too far, sir. Maybe
Well,
one step.
I'm going to fight you a little bit on the measuring stick because I really like the measuring sticks because it is a bit more precise. For my kid, for Chuck, where he's a little bit more vertically challenged, it's easier for him to see what to use them.
Oh.
And it's opened up the game for him to where
I
that was a big problem for him.
I totally do agree with that, but when people are taking measuring stick and then put another one at the end, I'm like, no, get a fucking tape measure. Come on. There is a point where if you're measuring a far enough distance, you're like, is that good? I mean, get your opponent to take a look too. I mean, this is a gentleman's game at the end of the day. Every game is a gentleman's game, and you guys have to have a little give and take. If you guys can't come to agreement, maybe you have to go then. But there's sometimes I guess like, is that in? I'm like, yeah, that's in. It's fine.
I suppose
Yeah.
from a rough standpoint, if it becomes a matter of millimeters, then yeah, then okay, I can see your point, John.
Yeah, I mean, and a single stick is good. Like I have no problem with single stick, but as soon as you enter a second stick in, you're entering another level of imprecision to the game. And why not just use the measuring tape?
I think we can all agree that getting the second stick involved is somewhat troublesome.
Indeed.
Especially when they touch tips.
You don't
Nope.
no, that's not okay. Do not touch the tips.
Oh. So there you go. Maybe I'll bring up a little bit of that to Mr. Pagani later when he's on.
So how you like my base? It's getting better, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you
Decent
need.
definition.
I definitely think you need a little, maybe a little more tone in there, but I don't want to say anything till you're getting closer to done. Like I think a couple brown rocks or just
Yep.
really different colored rocks in there.
Yep. I don't disagree. I'm not gonna make any purple ones because I accidentally grabbed the purple one here. All right. Where is my egg
Actually, if you purple with a little bit of gray, you could probably get a very interesting tone of rock.
I'm trying to figure out where my. There it is. Egg Earth shade. I'm gonna put some. I'm gonna darken up darken up some of the sandy area here a little bit.
I think you should apply that like you apply the second step of the extreme metal painting technique.
Exactly. I'm going at it now.
Just squirt that shit on. That was the exact point. I realized that they just put up their April Fool's joke a little bit early.
Yep.
I text Dallas after that, and I says, "Well played, sir. That was funny as shit."
Yeah.
So
That
I'm
was
like,
really
okay,
good.
extreme metal. I can see them. They're like, dry brush first. Oh, okay. They're like, then liberally apply super glue. I'm like, oh, he's taking a shot at us. Hold on. Where's he going? Metal flakes. Awesome.
Yeah, that was great. That was. I really enjoyed that. That was very good.
I enjoy a good April Fool's joke. A day early is a little like I understand there are multiple time zones, but you got to think about if you're getting it too early. And I think theirs dropped a little too early. Some people got it immediately and were like, "Is this serious?" And it took a little bit. GW did theirs, which was Citadel Water,
Yeah, I
which
saw that
is
one.
really taking a piss at their old style of making stuff. And I'm like, ooh, a couple years ago that would have been shots fired.
Mhm.
But you're doing it yourself, so it's good to see a GW with a sense of humor, engaging with people, and becoming let's call them a normal company, a normal game company, not some corporation again.
Going to that right there. I went to when I was at Depticon. I went to the GW, panel,
Yes.
and I'm sitting there watching. I'm waiting for all the corporate stuff, type stuff. And whenever I don't know if anybody's seen it, if anybody cares if I spoil it, because they were talking about the new rules of 40K coming out, and there's a guy behind them with a drop pod. And he says, "Yeah, we're looking at the drop pod rules." And he takes the drop pod and slams it on the table as hard as he can, and just shatters into like 50 billion pieces. It's like, yeah, that's not going to work. And I mean, you could tell that they were having fun and poking fun at themselves. and the tone that they had was, we're coming back to the community more.
Yes, they win the award for most improved gaming company, hands down.
Yeah.
And
They're
actually,
doing it.
I don't know. There's some news from Gamma that around there too that I heard multiple sources. Maybe good, maybe bad. It's at least interesting for everyone. Is that they're going to allow internet sales again?
Saw that.
Yes.
It's a very interesting take there. We'll have to see. Like, I I'm torn because it's good to see them not being jerkwads, let's say.
Yep.
But on the other hand, that is a direct shot at the retailers who've pretty much kept GW games in for these dark years, if you will.
I wonder if they're going to get ready to allow gaming back into their stores.
They have to really change how they do their stores, and
Yeah.
in this area, I think that ship has sailed. They closed at one point. They had like 13 stores in the local area. Now we've got like 3.
Okay.
And the headquarters moved. The bunker, which was everyone loved the battle bunker, it was a destination place. Nothing going on. People would come in like, oh, I just want to come see the battle bunker because it was, one of the first places in the country with a huge room of just gaming tables and everything. And then they took it away, and that's sort of where they started losing the interest. We'll have to see how that plays out. I mean, I think them having their own stores is still probably not the best idea, but
I agree with that.
we'll have to see how it takes on. I mean,
Another thing that came up at Adepticon that I wanted to talk about, and it was something that you and all 3 of us were talking about at one time, and we wanted to talk about tournament scenes. I think it was start of the Masters. Travis Mard was, addressing the crowd type thing about, hey, make sure you, check your stuff, make sure you measure correctly. And Hungerford is standing right next to him. And he's like, and if you have a question, call a judge, because that guy across the table is not your friend. And Hungerford was like, whoa, wait a minute. Because Hungerford's more about, this is about the game playing.
Travis said
fun.
that?
Travis said that, but he's making a point of why you call a judge, because at a tournament scene, some people get really hot and heated and will argue every single point. And Travis's point was, call a judge to be the mediator and the final rule thing.
yes.
Is pretty much what it was. And totally understandable. But I mean, Hungerford's take was like, guys, we're playing with little dollies. Be a friend. Don't be a douche. But Travis had a very important point that some people are going to take it way too far.
I feel like they both had good points, and I feel like
Yes.
Travis's point they're both points well taken. The people who are too serious need to, go, hey, we're all friends playing with toy soldiers. And the other guys need to go like, hey, this guy is going off memory, and if his memory's not sure, he's going to skew towards whatever favors him. It's human nature. He's not doing anything intentional. So call the judge. We had one of the local tournaments where I'm standing there, they ask a rule, and they're like, I'm not sure, and I know the rule, but I'm not judging, I'm just watching. So I'm like, I hit their thing, I'm like, judge, and I had the judge come over and tell them what was doing it, It's not my place to intervene rules, but I can get a judge and like, you guys, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I gotta
So,
I gotta
it's
step
good.
away from the camera for a few seconds, folks. I'll be right back.
But I mean,
Go ahead. Gonzo?
there we go.
Oh.
My sound was out for a second. It was,
Where's John's shirt? Oh,
we
Jesus.
made check out our amount of money.
Yeah, I know we
got.
made it. I saw
Yeah.
Lee's thing in my midst of my back and forth, but I guess your shirt went off. Very good.
They both made really good points.
Mhm.
Travis's point was, hey, if there's a problem and a conflict, just call a judge.
Yeah.
Don't argue about it. Don't get into a fist fight. Blah blah blah. And Hungerford's was like, dude, play the game, have fun. We're grown men pushing dollies around and throwing dice.
Absolutely. I like to say it when I'm running events is feel free to call the judge. There is no negativity. It's nothing against your opponent. There's nothing bad about calling a judge. Judge means, hey, I just want someone impartial to take a look at this.
Yeah. And then they were both like that. It was just really funny at the time because Hungerford was like, because Travis was like, let me finish Hungerford and do it. And of course, Huckleberry was like, that was it? No. Guys, we're having fun.
Yeah. It's definitely good to have the both sides there and see them, and you take that
Yeah.
to your heart. I mean, the games, we're a community, we're playing games.
Yeah.
There may be people that you play who are literally not your friend.
Yeah.
But try and keep it civil. Try and treat them the same way.
Yes.
You know, there are guys locally where I'm like, I don't want to play them. I have to play them at tournament. I will play them, and I will be absolutely the best sportsman I can. But, you know, it's not going to be, I'm going to ask him a question. I'm going to ask the judge a question. That's what the judge is there for.
Yeah.
There are people I trust implicitly enough that, like, so they say the ruling. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's keep going for speed's sake. That's the ruling, you know, and then we'll look at it afterwards. There's no don't worry about that too. If you both agree on a ruling during a game, you don't have to get the judge involved. Do your thing, play your game. If you both agreed on it, it's got to be at least amicable.
Yeah.
And then check afterwards. Like, was that really the rule? Like, oh, we did it wrong, but we both did it wrong. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you call a judge, like, I've got a ruling, you think it's one way, I think it's another way, call a judge, get a quick answer. You may not like it, but it's an impartial answer, and it's done.
Mhm.
Move on with your game.
Yeah, any game doesn't have to be War Machine.
Oh, yeah.
I jumped at a 40K tournament years back, and most of the rulings I was just like, sure, okay, I haven't played in a bit. I'm gonna go with you. There's one where I'm like, no, you cannot do that, judge.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing negative about calling a judge. That's what they're there for. They wish to help you.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, at the end of the day, they'd love for the tournament to run perfectly, no one call them. But if there's a problem, I solve it. Couldn't handle the
like
vanilla
that.
ice. Good.
That was great. That was good.
I use it at work all the time. My boss really chuckles when I use vanilla ice.
Sick Boy is asking, him and his roommate are getting into Mark III, haven't played since mid Mark II, and he's suggesting where to start. He has Rhett, and his buddy has Trolls. Go to your local game store.
Yeah.
Find people that are playing. I'm going to tell you that's the best thing. If you can find an XPG, even better.
Yep.
If you can just find your guys and say, hey, and be honest with the guys. Say, hey, guys, I haven't played since like mid Mark II. I don't know all the rules. Can someone help me? And usually you're going to find someone's like, yeah, let's do that, because it's better to get a player than lose a player.
Yeah. Get someone to help you, because they're always willing. They'll help you out, because it'll be them going, all right, let me slow down these rules. They always have a guy. There's always at least one guy at a game store who's the guy who plays the new players, because he's like, all right, let's slow down. I got no ego about this. This is how this rule works now. No, don't do that, because the rule changes to this instead. The guy who can do all that, has the temperament, has the memory, and has no problem coaching you through some of the rules changes. They're not great. They're not amazing. They're not crazy big. There's little things. I mean, hell, I do a lot of reminding my opponents, like, you forgot to power up that guy. Oh, hey, you forgot that you can get focus for free or fury for free because I killed a war beast. The little rules.
Sick Boy, where are you out of? What's your local area? I can check my group of friends and see if I can get someone recommended.
Check his crew. The crew.
Chicago.
Chicago.
A ton of people up there.
Yeah.
You have a ton of people. Give me a second.
Yeah, he'll find some for you. He's got the connections.
I know nobody.
You know everybody.
I did run into my first fanboy at Adepticon.
Oh shit. That's weird, isn't it?
It's weird, and it's my boy Chris, Night Troll, and I'm not going to butcher his last name too much, because we were sitting there, I was watching this game, and the Night Troll won the game by killing Kaya 3, and he was like, "You're Gonzo from Painting with Midnight John. Y'all are really fun. Y'all help me paint and all this stuff." And I was like, "He's a cool dude." And I was like, "You watch us?" He's like, "Yeah, all the time." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." And he was pretty awesome.
So Brian Latour just gave us a donation.
Woo!
We are at 460, only $40 away from me putting my shirt back on, folks.
Oh, please, Lord.
So come on, nobody wants to see these nipples on camera for too much longer. Let's get this done. I'm cold.
You're selling it the wrong way.
Oh.
I'm totally comfortable. Putting the shirt on would make me uncomfortable.
Oh, make me more uncomfortable. So.
Oh.
Anyhow, so I had to take Zaza. Speaking of poop, we had to. I had to take Zaza outside because it was time for her.
It happens.
Yep, she's.
So let's take a look here, John. Looking at the schedule, when do we want to put the co-host corner back on for?
So looking at the schedule, we have an open slot after Gonzo. Well, let's see. No, wait. We're coming up on 11 o'clock. We have painting, no guests. We could just roll into that as being co-host corner.
That, or I actually like the idea of after Gonzo because that gives us, if one wants to pop away while Gonzo's going on RPGs, we can take turns going away and getting food, and the same thing during Co's Corner if Gonzo wants to head out for a little bit and grab some chow.
Guess
No,
I'm.
I'm here for the whole thing.
Oh, you're for the whole thing?
I'm here for the whole thing. I may go poop once, but that's about it.
Oh, hey, by the way,
Finish my other elephant man.
speaking of poop, I have something that isn't poop, and that is a bottle of it's their Barrel Works series from Southern Tier. This is courtesy of Beer Machine Rich. And let me go ahead and get a fucking bottle opener here. This is we are a craft brewery. Are we a craft distillery? Yes and yes. So this is introducing Manhattan Ale, inspired by the ever-timeless cocktail. We brew this ale with cherry juice, orange peel, and coriander, then aged to perfection in bourbon barrels. It's a midtown metamorphosis that harmoniously brings our two passions to life in one glass. So this is from Southern Tier, my favorite brewery, and I'm gonna let you know how it is right now. So, do we have any? Let's see. I should have saved this for the next hour for the Brushheads, or for the cronies, I should say. So let's give it a shot here. Oh, that's delicious.
Oh, well, I have to use the facilities also, and I'm going to go
Holy
get
shit
a new
balls.
beer by me. It's called Not Your Mother's Apple Pie.
This is
We'll see how that is.
This is 14.1% alcohol by volume. Holy shit!
Yeah, wow.
Gonna take her time with that one. All right. Wow, so that's serious medicine. Remember, folks, speaking of Beer Machine Rich, JP, the whole crew, that other guy, they're all going to be on later on today. So we are still continuing to win the battle. I'm having so much fun with this bass, just fucking with it. Just doing like two brush blending and stuff, highlighting it. I think this needs more wash over on this one though. Jupiter. Anyway, so how's everybody in the chat room going? We got 20 viewers right now.
Yeah, you missed it. We had a new guy come in saying he's looking into getting into the game.
Hooray!
He's a Mark II player, going to Mark III, and is looking for people in the Chicago area.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, I think I know a few people in the Chicago area.
Yep. That Felix guy
So,
is super sweet.
Yeah, I'm texting with Felix right now to see if it's okay to give him information.
I would assume it would be. There's a lot of really
but,
great guys. There's a lot of really great guys in the Chicago area. You're in a very good meta for the most part. Hey, that problem with Guild Ball, do you know who was involved with it?
Yes, I do.
Did it? Does the person's last name rhyme with Rock?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay. Well, then I don't care. Anyhow.
Any chicken.
So I got to figure out what to do to make these things. I think there needs to be more different colors in these rocks.
Yes. You need to have a darker gray, a lighter gray, a white, like a really white gray.
Okay.
And then, of course, poop brown, light brown. Then you could get some sponges and stencil some patterns.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Wow.
And then, like, take some of your beard and just press it into the rock. That way it'll give it a little stippling effect.
There you go.
I don't think he's really
This is
paying attention anymore.
This is some fucking advice you're giving me right here, boy.
All right. Let us try this stuff.
Belinda, there will be more eating with Menoth John. Belinda has committed to making me a nice little cold platter with some prosciutto and some other things on it. So if you're interested in seeing me eat, that'll be a thing that will happen.
Yeah, I've got salad with co-host John coming up here in a bit, but I'm gonna cheat, and I have an advantage over you guys because I have a fridge full of Soylent, ready-to-drink food, so I can easily have meals.
There you go. Hey,
It's actually not bad.
I've
Tastes
heard.
great, but
Yep,
it's okay.
I've heard things about the Soylent.
Huh.
Hey, holy shit! Scott Heibel just came in with $100.
Holy moly!
Holy shit balls!
Put that shirt
Okay,
back
that
on.
shirt's back on, folks.
Thank you, Gopnik Scotty Potty, saving us.
Drakius Dragon wants to know, have you ever used the brush flick method to add texture to your
Thank
rocks?
God, Scott. Thank you.
I think he's asked that once before.
Hey,
So he's pretty persistent.
that's crazy talk. So that means now that there is a tie for the Aaron Gordon Braden dice tray, custom-made dice tray, and what do they call it? Tournament point or whatever the fuck. Marker
Scenario tracker?
Yeah, that one. The scenario tracker.
Yeah.
So there's a tie for that now. And so that is something you ought to be looking for, folks. $100.
Go! 2 men enter, 1 man wins.
So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to do that. So we'll figure something out, though. Keep donating. We'll figure it out.
So this Not Your Mother's Apple Pie is actually pretty good.
Nice. My mom made apple pie, and it was pretty fucking badass. I got to put it out there. She's no longer with us. She's on the other side watching all this.
This is a beer, but it's good. It's not too appley, not too anything. It'll hint to everything.
Nice. I could literally fuck with this base for hours.
Uh-huh.
It's got that kind of a feel to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of detail. The big bases are good for that. Actually, I've done a bit of work on my Galleon base and my Hyperion base. I need to probably finish those guys, huh?
Yeah,
That's
you
a good
could.
idea. But today is not that day. I'm not set up to paint up here. I'd have to work on it. There's not good enough light. I have to do a lot of stuff to make that work, but it's on the list.
So, interesting thing that I found. This is a secret superpower that I just discovered.
Oh.
What?
My son went on a cave expedition. I gotta take my headphones off. Went on a cave expedition, and I bought him one of these headlamps. And I'm gonna put these over the top here. And it looks dumb, but it's pretty effective. But look at all that light now I got.
I have one of those saved on my Amazon wish list because some guys on one of the various painting groups on Facebook mentioned it, and I'm like, that's not a terrible idea.
It's interesting because you can get like light where you normally can't get it because of how lights work. So I'm enthusiastic. Now I'm not going to keep this on here all the time, but for painting in areas that you otherwise can't get to, I really think it's a capital idea. I think I need to dry brush this frickin' base though before I go a whole lot further. We're gonna put it aside for now. We'll go back and we're gonna try and see what we can find out about how badly I continue to fuck up Fiora 3.
Pretty bad. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't disagree. I've broken it twice so far on the show. Put that light over here. So this is the part of the show that we called. Are we at 11 o'clock yet? Yeah, we're just about to go to 11 o'clock, folks. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pause the show for just a couple of minutes. We're breaking this thing into 1 hour segments for the most part. We will be right back. Remember, folks, the donations are flowing in now, folks. The generosity here in the last hour has been mind-blowing. We are at $560. We've surpassed our goal. Remember, folks, we're also going to donate the Patreon. for this Sunday show. That's going to go into this fund as well. So that's, a little bit more money there. Really super enthused by everybody.
Money.
We will be right back here in about 2-3 minutes, and we're going to be coming back with something. More of the Painting with Men Off John all-day show for juvenile diabetes, because fuck that shit. Anyway, this is Men Off John. That's Gonzo. That's John Spencer. We'll be right back.